My father bought the original part of our operation in 1929. It was the old Clinton Sheep Company, and that's when the beginning was. He acquired at that time 15,000 ewes. It was a large operation, and it was in the tough times when outfits were going through bankruptcy when he bought it. It's always been a family-owned corporation. We run our sheep in 8 counties, from Idaho County to the north to Elmore County to the south and west.
Twice a year, the Solons' 10,000 ewes trail several hundred miles across a complex web of public and private lands in southwestern Idaho. The Solons credit their extensive, ever-changing jigsaw puzzle of open range, croplands, orchards, meadows, and forests with keeping them in business. Without it, they would face unsustainable feed and fuel costs.
You had to go out and put this together yourself. You didn't just happen. You had to have the vision that what it took to make it a sustainable year-round operation that could be profitable.
Each fall, after the lambs are shipped to market, the ewes trail from the mountaintops to the valley floor. By clearing this private orchard of unwanted plant cover and trampling the tunnels of mice and voles, the sheep expose the root-feeding rodents to birds of prey and other important predators. The ewes' activity makes them very interesting to these deer, and it makes rodent-controlling chemicals unnecessary.
Well, there's a runway right there. It's kind of, you can see the sheep tracks where they've tromped in, and then some of the small apples there.
We started grazing the orchards a number of years ago now, and went in at the request of orchard growers to remove that residue, but also to the sheep will trample out those rodent burrows, and so it's a good deal for them and it's a good deal for us.
During late fall breeding, the ewes feed on pasture or on the residue of harvested crops. The money the Solons pay for private grazing leases is vital income to area farmers.
This time of the year, pasturing out on these alfalfa pastures or going into the orchards, that's very important. So every piece of the pie is certainly important to our operation and keeping it going.
Come winter, the ewes move on to BLM's Birds of Prey area, the southernmost point of their route. By trimming plant cover, they reduce biomass that could fuel next summer's fires, and they help raptors spot their prey.
We run our sheep fairly economically. We do trail, we don't truck, and trucking with the price of fuel and other costs is getting more and more expensive, so continuing to trail becomes a more important part of our operation as the years go on.
Then they'll head north again, where they'll hoof it right through the town of Caldwell.
People aren't used to necessarily seeing 2,000 sheep walking through town, and a lot of them have never seen big numbers of livestock being moved, and so it, for most people, it is quite an interest to them, and they are fascinated, and most people really enjoy it.
The schools will let the kids out of school because we pass fairly close by some schools, and the kids will be out of school watching the sheep come through. People stop, they take pictures. It's an exciting event, something people don't see every day.
In March, after the pregnant ewes have trailed north into Gem County, traveling shearing crews remove their heavy winter fleece. In the past, wool brought nearly as much money as lamb. But fleece prices have fallen so sharply that in some years now, the Solons actually lose money shearing.
The wool market is starting to come back slightly. It was better this year, and it's a necessary part of the operation for the animal's health, so you have to take that wool off.
After you guys have a look here, then we're going to let some other people up close.
They watch the ewes being sheared. They all get a little piece of wool.
That dark color is the soil that got in from last summer.
You know, it's a whole education process, and I think it can be a wonderful experience for children and necessary for them to understand where the things that they use come from.
And this has been going on for a number of years, that they bring the kids out and you get that opportunity, and they need that good exposure, and the youth needs to know all of that. And we do enjoy them coming. Thank you for coming.
I like your farm.
Do you like my farm? Okay.
As the grass is coming on, we'll start trailing north, and we'll go into Crane Creek, into kind of our home base area, and we'll start lambing the 1st of April.
There's nothing more beautiful than being out in the range side, watching the ewes lamb out, and seeing the newborn.
By June, succulent grass is beginning to put weight on the lambs, and warming weather is drawing them into the rocky high country.
You go to low elevations in the winter, and you come to the high elevation in the summer.
We're very nomadic. We move with the feed is what we basically do.
We consider it following the green, is what we consider it, because the sheep continue to move on to green feed, and then trail back through.
Before the sheep return to the same area, the range plants will have had time to regrow. Though the Solons use mostly border collies to herd their sheep, they depend on Great Pyrenees to help guard their flocks against predators.
We'll lose as many as 10% of our lambs during the year till shipping time to coyotes, bears, cougars, now wolves. So we have expanded the number of guard dogs. In fact, right now we've got about 5 guard dogs out with this band, and simply try and control our losses.
By deterring some predators and alerting herders to others, the dogs are an environmentally sensitive alternative to other methods of predator control.
Hunters!
Well, we ship in the fall of the year, and when we say ship, that's when we wean the lambs off of the ewes and send them to market. And it's kind of the culmination of all your efforts for the year. You've worked all year long to raise up a lamb, and that's your final product. And to send that lamb off, it's an exciting time. It's always fun to see how much the lambs weigh, because that's the indication of how well you've done that year.
It's a good week. We, the guys always enjoy shipping because everybody gets together. You're putting 2 bands of sheep back together, and so the guys are combining their herds.
Our foreman is Peruvian, and he's a young man. Been with us for 18 years, and this is his future. He has his family here.
Over the decades, the Solons have hired herders from diverse places, including Appalachia,